Let us welcome the seventh speaker. The seventh speaker is Mr. Ryo Daido.
His speech title is The Art of Subtraction. The Art of Subtraction. So, Mr. Daido, please come up to the stage.
Thank you, Master of Ceremony, honorable judges, and questioner, and among all committee members. I'm really grateful for this opportunity. And this is a great crossroad too, although, unlike Aoi-san said, I can't go higher places. I'll just go down. So, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. Skepticism towards the benefit of having more information, abundance of information, is nothing new. I read somewhere that the volume of data produced in 2016 alone was equivalent to the historical sum of all the preceding years. It's scary, and no wonder we are so tired. Like global warming, the progression of information overload is incremental and continuous, making it hard to identify what the consequences are and when to take action. I have a strong feeling, however, that now it's time to do something about it before we get drowned in this creeping tidal wave. Let's look at the history first. Anyone who has lived long enough to have the experience of handwriting internal memos, by the way, I'm too young for that, just kidding, would probably agree that the quality of communications has dropped substantially through the process of technological advancement. In those days, before you wrote anything, you had to think through the entire story. That was a very demanding process. It was personal computers that changed it. Copying, pasting, and deleting that eliminated the discipline. The results? Longer memos, more reports, and thinner content. And perhaps most importantly, people in general, including myself, became intellectually lazier unless you were really disciplined. Then came email, compounding the problem. If personal computers were a production revolution, email was a logistics revolution that caused an explosive increase in the volume of information traffic as people added more and more recipients that they wouldn't have added in the previous, more manual mode. That was particularly conspicuous in a tightly knit society like ours. Sorry, this is Koisuru, fortunately. In a tightly knit society like ours, where 聞いてないよ or haven't heard it was a very powerful attack that we needed to defend against. So these two revolutions combined created a vicious cycle where our time got squeezed by too much information in low quality, and that in turn eroded our capacity to produce higher quality information. And the emergence of social media took it to a completely different stage, eliminating the distinction between communication and broadcasting. As more and more people started broadcasting, so-called echo chambers were created, entrenching this vicious cycle even more deeply. Now, layers after layers of superficial information makes it very hard for us to find something substantive underneath. Now, let's take a step back and think what the real problem is. We all know that just absorbing information and digesting them to form our own ideas are two different acts. Which is more rewarding at the end of the day? I guess we all agree that it's the latter. But the reality is, recent technologies are accelerating the former and in turn eroding the time for the latter. Let me elaborate on this using an analogy. Many of you must have heard of urgent important matrix, where the key message is that we tend to spend too much time on what's urgent but not important, leaving little time for doing what's important but not urgent. I think we are making the same mistake. Urgent in this context means whatever comes to your inbox, craving your attention, be it news feeds, online chats, or SNS suggestions. We indeed spend a lot of time on those, but are they really important? On the other hand, intellectual explorations like reading insightful articles, organizing ideas, discussing with friends, take a back seat because they don't come into your inbox, only to realize 10 or 20 years how little of those you did. Now, what needs to happen? First, let's face a reality that our time is finite and our brain capacity is already fully utilized up to our eyeballs. And you don't get a brain upgrade either. I wish I could upgrade my brain to 10XR because it's a 4S equivalent. And so that means we need to make a conscious effort to be really selective in what information to consume. We also need to raise awareness among people that there is an opportunity cost for every piece of information produced, and that producing waste information, like gas emission, costs us a lot. How can we achieve those? A catchphrase is very important, as we always use whenever we want an idea to be widely spread and ingrained in people's minds. To me, the art of subtraction, hikizan-nobi, really struck a chord because this Zen concept gives reduction a positive image. According to what I read, ichirinzashi, or single flower vase, is perfected through the process of subtraction until the real essence exquisitely embodies the entire picture. I thought it's just to save money, but it's not the case. So, the art of subtraction as our new mantra. Do you like it? Maybe not. So, now let me digress briefly towards societal implications, focusing on accountability in today's environment. As every step we take is exposed to much broader audience, the burden of explanation is ever increasing. If your explanations are poor, Enjo or website burn down is waiting for you. My concern is that could drive us towards what's easy to explain as opposed to what's right to do. Likewise, intuitions and feelings could become more suppressed as those are not explainable. That is very unfortunate because those will become much more important in the digital era. So, what we can do for these societal issues may be limited. I still believe that trying to develop the art of subtraction mindset as our culture would help in the long run. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Daido. Now we have a question and answer session. Mr. Tamura, please.
Thank you so much, Ryo-san, for a wonderful speech. I thought the concept was very interesting, and I like this concept, the art of subtraction. So the question is that I think one of the examples that I can think of when I hear this word, the art of subtraction, I think Twitter is one of the prime examples of applying the art of subtraction. And Ryo-san, do you have any other examples that successfully applied this concept?
Yes, thank you. That's a very, very excellent question. to me, art of subtraction, the use of art of subtraction is very wide. And for this, I just use it for information, but I apply that to business processes too. I often ask myself and the people, what could happen if we don't do this? So usually we do too much, and sometimes objective is not clear. And for information, likewise, so emails. Why do you have to? Why do you have to say, for example, let's wait for a few days and make a high-quality single email rather than just splashing out many emails and making them feeling the pain. So, did I answer your question?
Yeah, can you give us a specific personal experience where you find that the art of subtraction was really, really effective? Can you give us an exact
yes.
personal
Yes.
experience?
Yes. I would, for example, when I was in the U.S. Running a department, after some analysis, there were processes like, say, for example, make a report just to generalize. Make a report, and we found that is not utilized. That doesn't go anywhere. So spending time for something that doesn't go anywhere and doesn't earn us any money or reputation is not. It's something we can just reduce. And also, emails. I tend to tell people that emails need to be shorter when it includes too much of, say, something defensive. Let's say some people write emails just to defend themselves, why they are right and why they are wrong. But usually, the communication I encourage is to solve the issue. So sometimes communications to solve an issue and communications to prove yourself are different. So maybe I may not be answering your question directly, but...
All right, that's all. Thank you so much, Ryo-san. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Daido and Mr. Tamura. Please go back to the seat.